We'll never be wealthy and thumb
You're
sunken babies.
live. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Let's Talk About It, Steph. I am Steph, your host. Della's not
Hello.
here tonight, but we got Georgina and we finna get started. Y'all, we already been on here early before we even let y'all come on here talking stuff. So this is gonna be a wild night. Georgina, girl, don't get me started yet now.
I had started before I got on here. I woke up started.
I see that. But everybody should be getting started because there's so much stuff going on today. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. I just can't make this stuff up. We have the House bill going on in Texas. They're still down there arguing about passing it or sending it to us so we can vote for it. And I really think it's a great idea for them to let us vote for what we want because they get mad if we say the voucher bill, and we all know it's a voucher scam, but they want us to say EAS. So say it with me. EAS.
EAS. Eat.
Yes, that's what it is.
Eat my ass. So here's the deal is if that was really a good bill and people wanted it, we would have voted for it. We would have voted for it in November. He wouldn't have had to call multiple sessions back in 2023 and still not got it through. He would not have had to primary out 90% of the Republicans that were in rural areas who it is literally going to hurt the most.
Exactly.
Abbott's a piece of shit. He has no business being governor. He has no business being in any political position. He only cares about himself. I don't understand why people still keep voting for him. But at the end of the day, him and Paxton need to go. There's no
Ooh,
middle ground.
say it again.
Him and Paxton, Abbott and Paxton need to go. Period.
Yes.
That's it.
We need a lesser evil
Mm.
Texas. That's what we need. We need a lesser evil Texas because right now I think we're in a gate of hell around here because they're doing some. Ooh,
I mean, if anybody's concerned about what's going on in the federal government, they just need to open the door and look at Texas. We are the
exactly.
roadmap of what the federal government is doing right now. We were Project 2025 before anyone knew what Project 2025 was. Kill the
Exactly.
women, save the babies, my ass. They're killing the women, killing the babies. The people who voted for that damn baby bill, whatever it is, are murderers. They murdered women without a conscience.
They
Period.
didn't care. They
They don't
had
care.
no care whatsoever. So,
Mm-mm.
y'all, today we'll be talking about that too. So, we're going to be talking about the HB3, which is a landmark education reform thing, which is we all know what that is. And then the SAVE Act. So, you know, Georgina, because we're married, we do not have the right to vote in a federal election. How about that? That means I can't run for office for anything now. Huh? Does
Let's think
is that
about this. Let's think about this really quick. So it's Republicans who are concerned that the driver's license isn't good enough. For what, 30 years? Republicans have ran Texas. For 30 years,
30 years?
Republicans have decided how many?
30
30.
years.
Yeah, they've ran Texas. They decided our laws. They have decided how we conduct the research and so forth on our driver's license. If they don't like it, it's their fault. If they're allowing illegals to have a driver's license, which I do not believe is happening, that is their fault. We don't need a Saves Act. We need them to get their business out of my business and
I'm
to
gonna tell you
make
like
sure I'm
this.
going to be voting.
What illegal person that you know, not that we know any illegal person, but you know, we know people that know people that know people that know people. So, do you know anybody that knows somebody that's going to actually go up to a federal place to go get their driver's license, knowing good and well it's fake? They're fake. They're illegal, knowing good and well we got a Texas State Trooper that's sitting up there just waiting to lock somebody up. Why
No,
would they go to the driver's license bureau to have their license? Why
well,
would
and
they
see,
do that?
now let's say they didn't go. They had a fake license provided by them, correct?
It
Well,
happens.
okay, it does. And sometimes, they can bring it, but here's the thing is, and I want to make this extremely clear. If even though you registered a vote, it goes through the Democrats or through Denton County,
Mhm.
where you submit it, and then they accept it, and then it goes to the Texas election department, and they
Mhm.
have to approve it. Now,
Mhm.
if the two of them can't figure it out, again, we are a state of Republicans, okay? Then that is their fault. That is
Yeah,
no one else's fault but theirs. When that person scans that driver's license, because I've worked the election booths, it will tell you whether or not it is valid or not. Even though they
exactly.
filled out a card, until the state of Texas says it's valid, even if the county did, they still cannot vote without a provisional. And even that provisional has to be
Vetted.
voted on if they
Mhm.
get to that. So it's a $4,000 fine, I believe, if I was to register somebody as a VDR to vote. It's prison if you vote illegally. I have yet to meet one person that's working on citizenship or might be illegal that has said, I'm just going to risk it. It's that important.
Yeah, they're not gonna risk it. They're not even gonna go anywhere near a voting site at
They
that.
don't.
They're not gonna do that.
They're
They're
more
just
likely.
what it
Oh,
is voter suppression. We're gonna call it
mhm,
what it is. It is straight up voter suppression. And now there are voter suppressing women from having
mhm,
the married. Let me rephrase it. Married women. Remember, we talked about this last week
yeah.
and the week before. We talked about this was what they were trying to do. So it actually passed.
Did
So
what?
now it passed. So now we have to make sure that we have driver's license.
What?
Yes,
It passed
ma'am.
the House or the Senate too?
I think it got to go to the Senate.
Okay, yeah, passed the House, but I don't think it's passed the Senate yet. How did it
Yes.
even pass the House? Didn't it pass the House with like 2 votes?
I'm surprised it even passed. I'm surprised it even made it that far. But we're outnumbered.
Mhm.
We're
So,
outnumbered on both sides.
Ted Cruz knows that. I mean, it's his bill, I believe, but he knows that he can't vote.
Hmm.
That ain't his name. Andre or on whatever his name is, not
Mhm.
Cruz.
Don't get me started.
Mm.
Don't get me started. But let
I
me
mean,
tell you, Chip Roy is the one, the Texas congressman. He is the father of this bill. He sponsored this bill. So this is why. So ladies in Texas, if y'all want to get married, married women, if you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at Congressman Chip Roy or Roy Chip or whatever his name is. He is the one who sponsored this bill. So y'all need to be flooding his phone, and they go back to session in May. Y'all need to be on him because that is ridiculous that he's suppressing women that are married right to vote. It's over 90 million women that are married, and we will not have the right to get out there to go vote unless you have a passport. Like
something that's really, what's hilarious about Chip? He spent, I think it was 2023, he spent 45 minutes on the floor yelling at Republicans for having done absolutely nothing for him to go home and campaign on. That they had the biggest do nothing Congress that he, or maybe, or 2022, anyways, that he was mad because he was going to have to go home with absolutely nothing. And I mean, he spent a good 45 minutes yelling at him. And I thought, hey,
he threw the
finally,
papers up
he
too.
gets it. They did nothing. You know why they did nothing? Because there was enough people still in office that knew they were full of shit.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, Trump and all them primaried all the good people out, or decent Republicans that were left, and just filled it with MAGA. And now we lose our voting rights. I
Imagine
would have
that.
liked to say this to white women. This counts for you too. We get this, right? White women, white MAGA women, unless you can afford to go get your passport, you are fucking part of it too. Yeah. Mhm. It's not the other guy anymore. It's you. Mm.
Yeah, because
Yep.
y'all, Becky, y'all were the
Mhm.
ones who decided to take our rights away to have to do or say or do what we want to do with our bodies. So I'm
Mhm.
just saying,
Oh, Becky also thought that it was just transgender that she was taking it away from too. She didn't know it was her and her daughter and her
yeah.
granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
You
And,
voted
and,
for that, people.
and your great great grandkids behind you. So we got children that's going to have to fight for their rights all over again because somebody fell asleep or somebody believed what Chip was saying and decided to, hey, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Who cares if I have a bad cramp or have a cyst on my ovaries and need to go get help? You know, this is how they are thinking. They don't care. I don't know what's going on with them, but I sure hope they wake up because in a minute they're going to be telling women, you do not have the right to go work. You're going to have to work
Mhm.
at home taking care of the kids. And if you don't have any kids, I'm going to give you some kids to take care of. So
Do
it's finna be bad.
do we
I don't,
know if that law in Florida ever passed where it allowed 14-year-olds to work at any hour, day or night,
you know
because it
what? I
got rid of
think
all of their Hispanics?
they're pushing that law because they don't have enough workers.
Mhm.
So they knew that they were going to have to wind up getting children. And I'm gonna tell you something. I know you know those little teenagers. I had three of them.
Mhm.
There's no way in the world I would put them in a place that I'm not at watching them because people like to play with knives. They cut themselves. They just horseplay around in the home, especially in the kitchen. They're always horseplaying, you know. Then there, you do have some good kids that will do what they're supposed to do because myself and my siblings, we all worked at my dad's restaurant. But
Me too.
here's the thing we had discipline. We
Mhm.
were a different group of people, so we didn't do all that old extra stuff because we knew he was gonna put us in time. It wasn't no such time out, but I ain't gonna go there. But you know what I'm saying? We
Mhm.
weren't gonna do that.
We got whoopings.
For
We got a
real, we out
spanking
we what they
until we
say.
were until he decided we were too old to spank, and then we got grounded. That's actually how I started working at my dad's restaurant. It's because I got grounded, and then I'm like, now I make money. I work for me.
I burned
Well,
my
it was
mom
a
on
good
the floor,
punishment.
and I couldn't go back in the kitchen, so that's why. Yeah, we have to talk about that at another time. The things you did when you were young that caused you to wind up getting grounded for
Oh,
life.
that's a whole conversation. I don't even know if I want that on tape.
Yeah,
But
but
let's put that
y'all,
let's put that in perspective too, because when we're talking about 14-year-olds, that is a young age. Your mind's still developing. That is not some time where you want to put them on the graveyard shift at a convenience store. I mean, I don't know too many things that are open after 11 o'clock, but it's nowhere I want my 14-year-old working. Not to mention they're dangerous.
exactly,
I think almost
exactly.
they would be more likely to get robbed if somebody's like, "Oh, a 14-year-old's there."
Listen, I'm more afraid of a grown up being there. You know,
Mhm,
at these gas stations, especially these mom and pops, because for some reason they think they got plenty of money in the moms and pop stores. You know, and it's like that. And
mhm.
I personally would not want to be working in one because then putting my kid in that. I couldn't do it. I
Oh,
just couldn't.
I wouldn't put
But
my kid in a place like that. I mean,
no.
I'm sorry. There's a time I wouldn't even want my 14-year-old to work in that kind of at all just yet. They're still I'm at ninth grade. By 16, yeah, 15, 16, by all means, start, working a few hours a week. But the whole point, I think, of it is they don't feel like we need to educate our kids anymore. This really goes back to Project 2025, where we keep us stupid, uneducated, not able to vote, don't understand how to fight for our rights, get rid of the Constitution. I mean, I'm sorry, Trump is now following Hitler's plan to the T.
Yeah,
Project 2025 was written in 1930,
right.
1940, and then fulfilled in 1940. Yeah.
And look like here it is 2025 and this bad boy is trying to make sure that he destroys America from the inside out. And I don't know how we're going to come from this, but I am so glad that we do have people that are fighting to make a change to get him out. So there is
Mhm.
an article in impeachment that's in works. And I think Congressman Al Green is the one that's the author of that one. So hopefully he gets some support with all the stuff that's going on, and especially we're gonna get to that. Let me hold on. We're going too fast. HR 22, which is the SAVE Act, the one that he said that's what we're talking about right now, ladies. So we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about the SAVE Act. So y'all gotta pay attention to HR 22. Chip Roy, or Roy Chip, is the one that is the author of this. He's the Texas congressman that came up with this proposal. A citizens voters registration in federal election. Supporters, including Senator Mike Lee, argued that the essential to prevent non-citizens from voting and to preserve the integrity of American election. Now, I've been voting ever since I was 18 years old, and I've never had an issue with voting. I always showed my ID. You always had to show proof of residence, so you had to take your registration card with you. So there are so many layers that you have to go through. So I think that it's kind of hard for you to be able to do it. But if there's a thief that wants to get out there and go do something, I'm quite sure any system is able to be broken, including the system that they're trying to put in place now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
nothing is secure. Nothing is. And then we got to talk about the illegal deportation
Mm-hmm.
of Kilmer Garcia. He's still in El Salvador, and we have someone out there, the trying to get him out, and they're trying to talk to the president of El Salvador, but he's doing a lot of pushback. So we don't know exactly how that's going to turn out, but we're going to talk about this stuff tonight. Yeah, so get ready. Georgia and I are both done kind of like done open up a can of worms tonight, and look like we got Zara on the call. We're gonna see if she wants to talk or not. If not, we're gonna still be running our mouth and telling it like it is, because that's what it's about. It's about feeling free to be able to have a conversation. This is just our opinion about
Mm-hmm.
how we feel, and we have the right to say what we want to say.
Well, as long as we still have the Constitution, we
Today is
supposedly do. That's a
it's still there
questionable thing.
today.
I
They
still
trying
want
to
to know
have
what
an
Chip Roy's address is, so we can go and put and what is that? Hold some signs up in front of his house and let him know we voting. We want to vote. You don't get to choose if we get to vote. We're citizens. We get to
you,
vote.
you know what we should do? We should all
Mhm.
go take our bras and go throw it on his lawn.
We should and burn them.
It's Texas, man.
print off the
We didn't want that
print off
fire.
that form. You know how you can go on and see who you're. Oh, what is it? You pre-print who you're going to be voting for. We need to take
Uh-huh.
that out there, wrap our bras in it, set it on fire, maybe put a stick on it, roast some marshmallows. We can make a day of it.
Lord. Now I was down for throwing the bra in his yard and stuff. Now the other side I don't know about, but we'll figure that one out. I'll
Well, yeah,
let you
because we
have
don't want to burn anything down. I mean, it
no.
has to be safe. But the
Yeah,
burning the bras, kind of, yeah. Maybe we'll just throw them.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
I might got a
probably
little
going to
carried
be
away.
sniffing.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll come
Yeah,
up with something.
okay. I'm gonna leave you to that one. But yeah, yeah, I know tonight we're gonna wind up getting into trouble because Georgina, she always gets me in trouble. I don't know why, but we're gonna try to halfway get through the show without getting dinged by YouTube tonight.
Oh no, does that happen?
Yeah,
All right, I'll calm down. We'll just
just a
throw the
little
bra.
bit,
Just throw the
just
bra.
just just a little bit. That them people be watching. But anywho, y'all,
Mm,
we have got to talk about this subject here. So we're gonna go back and talk about this Texas HB2 and
mm.
HB3. They don't want it to be called the voucher scam. They want it to be called EAS. So we're gonna call it EAS. And
Education.
I'm gonna
Well,
tell you,
ESA. Is it education saving or what is it? Education
yeah,
savings
Education
account?
Savings Act. ESA, yeah, Education Savings Act.
Yeah.
I
It's a
don't think they
lie
saving
anyway.
anything. But listen, but here's the thing though. James, what is his name? James Tallarico was
Mhm.
on talking today, and I'm so proud of him. He got up there and laid it out, and he's trying to do an amendment on it. So here's the thing
Mhm.
though. Oh, sorry. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
They tried to push it down to where they can't take it to the people, which we are the people, to go
Mhm.
vote for it. So they want to make the decision. And of course, Mitch Little got on there. So he was sitting up there trying to, I don't even know why he even got up there to go speak or anything like that, because he never makes sense when he talks. But
Mhm.
he's an attorney. Imagine that.
That makes
So
sense.
yeah, right. So he was trying to twist him up. But James Tallarico, he stood his grounds. He stated his case. He believes in the fact that the school
Mhm.
vouchers or ESA or whatever you want to call it, we're going to call it what it is, school voucher,
Mhm.
coupon for the rich, it
Yeah.
should not be in there. First of all, we pay our taxes. And even if you don't own a home, you pay taxes some kind of way. Why
Yeah.
should our money, and those who like to play those lottos and stuff, part of that money is allocated to go to our school system. So
Mhm.
you're involved in this as well, even if you have a child or not, or
Mhm.
own a home. So with this, if they pass this, our prices are going to go up. Our taxes are already high. They're trying to camouflage and say, oh no, it's not going to go up. Yes, it will. Not only will this affect people that live in the city, it's going to cripple the folks that live in rural areas. You got West Texas, East Texas, up North Texas that have no private schools over there, and they're paying taxes on their land for their kid to go or pay for somebody else's kid that's in a whole nother county, a whole nother city, and that's not right. So this is why
Mhm.
we're standing up, y'all. This is why we're standing up and why we're fighting, because what is going on is wrong. What they're doing is they're taking money out of our public schools and they want to put it over here with the private schools, in which they say, oh, people that are making under $200 they qualify for. Listen, these private schools don't have to take tests. They're not up under any type of federal laws or anything like that. They don't have the same rules that the public education do. So if your child has a disability, let's say your child has behavior issues, well, guess what? They don't have to take them, and they can kick that kid out, and that money, the voucher or the ESA that they have, is not going to follow that child until October the 2nd. They don't tell
Mhm.
you that part. So that's when they start getting their money and start filtering out monies in October, right?
Mhm.
So it's not going to follow that kid. So if that kid happens to make it to October, let's just say they done made it all the way to November and they're getting kicked out of school. Well, guess
Mhm.
what? That money's not going to follow them to
Mm-mm.
their public school.
Mm-mm.
It's
It
it's
stays
not
with the yeah. Um,
exactly.
Here's another very important aspect of it. Unless they change this, the comptroller handles that money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the comptroller's only responsibility is to make sure money is spent the way it's supposed to. Like if this law says you spend money here, then they make sure that that money was spent according to the law. Their job is not to actually distribute funds. So what Abbott is doing is opening up a whole other avenue that allows him to funnel public funds into the comptroller and out of the school budget. Very similar to what we're doing now with what is it? They call it the Robin Hood. It's really recapture. So in our district, we get 6,001, or I guess all over Texas, you get $6,160. That's per student basic allotment, right? But that's
Uh-huh.
based on attendance, not enrollment. So we've got about a 95 attendance rate since COVID across the board. That means we're only getting about $5,800 a per student basic allotment for each child. The taxes that we pay have gone up because the property values have gone up, which is why, like, I think, what was it? Dallas ISD gave away $130 million in recapture. Austin, a couple of years ago, gave over $750,000 in recapture. And I believe that year, over $5 billion went to recapture. That didn't go into our student fund. That went into the general fund. So now Abbott has another way of funneling our money from our schools into a different fund. His ultimate goal is just to completely defund us and to not have
Yeah.
public schools or public schools that don't function. So, yay. Y'all, I didn't vote for Abbott. I'm just going to throw that out there. I've never voted for Abbott. So, I did my job.
I can't. Hi, Zara. Oh, okay. She
Oh, we
dropped out.
lost her.
Yeah, we lost her. She dropped in. So I'm gonna let her
Bye.
I think it's just us now.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a wall.
Hi, Zara.
Oh, good.
Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
We're
We are
doing good.
doing awesome. Getting in trouble as usual. I think this is called ladies' night.
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't think I'm allowed to drink right now because Stephanie might think I'd be too much of a troublemaker.
I don't
Yeah.
have a drink, but I do have my banana strawberry because I gotta go to the doctor tomorrow. Not alcohol,
Oh,
Georgie.
I
Don't
might,
do that.
I might go
I
grab me.
can't do the Dr. Pepper because I gotta go to the doctor tomorrow. I
You
gotta
can't do your
like
Dr.
I'm
Pepper.
halfway through. Thank you.
Stephanie puts that stuff in her purse.
I know. You know, I'm afraid if I give blood, it's gonna come out Dr. Pepper.
It could. It might.
It might. My husband has me drinking what is it, Dr. Pepper Zero, and I'm
Mhm.
looking at him like, really? You just might as well just give me water instead.
No, that has the bad sugar in it.
We're
You
not
should.
supposed to be drinking Coke. We're boycotting
What
Coke.
happened with Coke?
Yeah, we're still boycotting them. Yeah, we still boycotting them.
What happened with Coke?
Coca-Cola. Yeah. Till they do right by our brown people, we will not be drinking Coca-Cola.
Well, we start talking about doing right. We should not be eating Chick-fil-A either.
No.
You gotta cut that out, man. They vote against everything we love. They put the people in office most likely that are trying to strip away our rights to vote.
You know what? Please.
What the hell does that even mean? I mean, I thought we were going on a path that was making us great.
Well, we obviously can go to the history book and find out when we were great.
I don't know, before we arrived.
Right. Because it looks like every 10 years we're in some type of battle with somebody, and here we go again. We're in some kind of mess.
Mm.
I'm like, we
Well,
can't make
after
this.
our biggest issue is when we had Reconstruction. First of all, Abraham Lincoln got assassinated because of what he tried to do. And then was it Andrew Johnson, I think, came in and pretty much just undid everything Lincoln had tried to do for people. And then all the racists moved west. And that's where we see so many Confederate flags and everything. Because, well, I mean, when you didn't have someone doing the labor for you and you didn't know how to do your own labor, I guess you have to go find a job.
Georgina, I'm not going to get started with you tonight because I already see where this is going.
I'm done now. That's all I had to say. I'm just saying that if we, because I got curious on why. I was like, how is it possible that we have so many people who are carrying a Confederate flag? I mean, we're not the South. Where did this come from? So I started looking it up. And then, of course, you had the Missouri Compromise because they were like, well, we can't do it down south. Let's do it near Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska. Um, they tried to take it with them when they told them they couldn't do it over here. It's like, well, we'll just take this with us. No, then they had Freeman's land. Like, oh, well, they can't be free anymore. We're going to make this the Missouri Compromise. It makes me exhausted. We messed up then.
We're gonna have a whole history
Mhm.
class on here on one of these Wednesdays. We're gonna have to do one because it's so much history that they didn't teach us in
Mhm.
school. No matter what state you were in, they watered it down so that way we wouldn't be curious enough to find out more. But like we said last weekend, is that our black churches were the ones who taught us about our history because we sure in the heck didn't learn it in Louisiana. I'm sorry, Louisiana. I love y'all, but y'all be suppressing stuff. So we didn't learn anything about our actual history and how that we were part of Mexico as well. We were, hey, that's how they came up with the Louisiana Purchase. There's a lot of
Mhm.
history that down here, Texas, Louisiana, Texas, what is it, all the way up to California was part of Mexico. So they
Yeah.
said they land back. So are they really invading? No, they're not. Or
I
this
mean, I
was
guess it
there.
depends on how you look at it.
So I
I
like
don't
to say,
here's the thing is, we have to like, we got our H-1Bs and we have our H-1B2s, right?
right,
Or H-2Bs, or it doesn't matter, I'm getting confused now.
HB3.
So one's more of your educated workforce and one's more of your blue collar labor. We need both. These are facts. Um, but we need it in a way that's more managed so we can have the jobs. It's a symbiotic relationship. We bring in enough people where they have fill the jobs that we need. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know too many people who are immigrants that are really going out and trying to kill people. If you listen to Director Ray before Trump got rid of him or encouraged him to leave, he was more concerned about our internal threats. Like we have.
Listen, they've been talking about internal threats for years, and they said we need to be concerned about the ones that's in the country. It's not the ones
Born
outside.
here.
It's the born.
Now,
Yes.
born here. And Trump
Homegrown.
didn't like it because it's the MAGA people, the ones carrying the guns, the Proud Boys, those type of people that he's talking about. Those are
Yeah,
the ones he's saying we need to be scared of. Now, the external threat of terrorism increased when October 8th happened. But before then, it really was more of an internal threat. And it still is. Our internal threat is also increasing. So basically, we're just threatened from all angles now.
we are. We're
Yeah.
sitting ducks.
Mhm. Quack.
Literally. We're sitting ducks
Yeah.
because he has put, okay, so let's break it down to like this here so people could understand. Basically, we're in a relationship with Trump and his administration, and it's an abusive relationship, right?
Mhm.
And we
Yeah.
can't get out. And he has alienated us from people that love us, that want to protect us.
Mhm.
And he has managed to kind of like put narcissists around us so they can abuse us too. So now you got your relationship with him and his administrator abusing us, and there's no one that's going to be able to help us. So the only way that we can get help is we actually got to help ourselves. So whatever congressmen and senators, y'all need to impeach them, because
Mhm.
if y'all don't stand up for us and we put you in office, it's over.
Mhm. Well, here's a
Oh, we got Mr. Christopher.
hey, Chris, how are you doing? Doing good. I see my hair's all messed up. There we go.
There goes our ladies night. We got
Bothering
Chris on
me.
here.
Yep, yeah, mine too.
I know. I was like, oh, I've been watching that. It's been bothering me. What were we just talking about? I squirreled.
Our abusive relationship with an administrator. You know, he's toxic,
Hmm.
and we have people that want to help us, but they're not going to be able to help us until we wind up helping ourselves. Does that make
That's what I
sense?
was. That's what I was going to say. So yes, what there are several ways we can help ourselves, and I mean, protesting is one because we get the word out. You know what I mean? So we can come together, let them know that we have numbers, and I think that's one thing that MAGA didn't really count on is they thought that we were weak. We're Democrats, and I hate to tell them, but a lot of Democrats own guns too. So don't think that they're the only ones that own guns. We just don't want. people who are going to go shoot up schools and
Right, which we just had
malls
two
to own
yesterday.
guns.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I
yeah,
mean, the, and maybe some regulations. I mean, there are some things you can do to just make it a little bit safer so crazy doesn't own a gun. But at the same time, vote in our local elections because governors, city council is limited on what they can do, but they can still keep you educated and do whatever they can on the local level. So
right.
anytime we have an election, you have to vote because that vote is going to determine who
That's
is
right.
becoming our state senator or our state house. Those start in city council. So if we're not getting Democrats into city council, we're saying we don't want Democrats into the state house or we don't want them into the federal legislator or president. So every election, we just need to act and know that regardless of how small it is just as important as when we vote for our president.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So don't show up for all of them. Know who you're voting for. And yes, Democrats, if you're running for school board or city council, let Democrats know you're a Democrat because Republicans are telling everyone they got a list. They're holding forums with just Republicans. They got precinct chairs who are active. They're knocking on doors saying that's a Democrat, this is a Republican, don't vote for this one. We're like, I'm running for office. I'm bipartisan or I'm nonpartisan. Honey, that ain't
Yeah,
working.
yeah, yeah.
That is the
Yeah,
dumbest
I'll
thing
agree
I've
with
heard.
that. Yeah,
What's that?
yeah. That nonpartisan thing, I think that's out the window.
It's gone. Those days, they're that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
The bird has flew
It,
the coop. Yeah, we're partisan. Get it? Know
yeah.
it. It is how it is. So Democrats, I don't know about y'all, but don't y'all hear often that I don't go to vote because I don't know who. There's no R&D next to it. I don't know who I'm voting for.
But here's the thing. Yeah, I do hear that. But you know what? Just because they got a D by the side of their name don't mean they're a D. We learned that in Dallas, remember?
And
Eric
that
Johnson,
is why
the
you got to
mayor.
have a
Yeah,
party that vets them. They need
Yeah.
to be vetted. Yes.
Yeah, they
yeah,
do. I mean, you need to. I think that they, when it comes to certain positions, you definitely need to be vetted. If you have
Mhm.
not voted certain things all the way down, and then you just so happen to switch over, I think
Mhm.
we need to kick you out completely.
Mhm.
And you can't. Once
yeah.
you out, you can't come back. So don't
Nope.
come back to me. No,
Mm-mm. I
you
want
out.
good Democrats who stand for human rights, pro education, pro gun reform, not taking them away. There is a huge difference there. Support our police because guess what? We have to have good officers. We
Yep.
can't do anything without them. But we also don't
Yes.
need bad ones. Supporting them means giving them good ones because the bad ones make it hard for the good ones to do their job. We
And on top of that, guess who we need to support?
our
We need to
people.
be supporting our military folks, our soldiers, because hey, we got to support them because right now
Yeah.
I can't even imagine the amount of stress that they're under
Mhm.
because they they took an oath to protect and serve against foreign and domestic, and right now we got something going on to where it's like, what the heck do we do, because he done fired all the generals.
Well, and that's a good point because and this my youngest wants to join the military and I'm like not as long as you're under a fascist rule because then
Mhm.
you depending on how Trump wants to look at it, if he wants you to go and round up a bunch of people and you say no, I'm not putting them in a concentration camp, are you now the terrorist or the traitor?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And
since
yes,
you
you would
said
be.
that, they're he done made a deal with El Salvador president
Mm,
saying that he needs 5 more prisons, so that way people like us that be speaking out that don't agree with him, we going to jail.
mm. Yeah,
Well,
Oh, God.
let me rephrase that. Hell prison. That's
yeah.
where we'll be going. So I'm like,
So
we gotta do
we have
something about it.
lost what is that oh when you go to court you actually have due
Due
process.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Due
yeah,
process.
It's
yeah,
gone now. I
it
mean,
is.
it
It's
was
like the
sketchy
water Trump.
before,
Whatever he says is
but
that's what
it's
goes.
gone now.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's like the court of Trump. Whatever he says, that's what goes. We
Mhm.
don't have a say so, and that's why when we talk about Mr. Garcia that's stuck in El Salvador, and they're trying to get him out. Even Maxine Waters is saying, "Hey, I'll fly out there with y'all." I'm quite sure they probably out there now trying to speak to the U.S. ambassador, trying to get this guy released. He did nothing, and he got deported. How?
Mhm.
Imagine you have a son, right?
Mhm.
And your son gets out for that bus, and
Mhm.
at 3:15 your son should be walking in that door because he has a tattoo or put one of those little face printing things on his arm or whatever. They assume that he's in a gang, but he might have an artistic brother or sister at home
Right.
that he's supporting. This is in support because April is the support of autism month, right?
Mm,
Right.
And
yeah.
he gets snatched up. You don't even know that he got snatched up. Somebody in this white van has got on. Look who we got on. We talking.
Now let's
Hi,
move on. Yeah. We got Caesar on.
Caesar. Hi. Hi, Caesar. I think he's driving. We'll
Can he
add you
hear
on when
us?
you get situated. Hey. So y'all forgot what I was saying. But
Oh,
we but we
now you were
definitely
talking about the El Salvador deportations. I mean, that's crazy.
yeah.
That, that's
So
that's
so Chris, you get what I'm saying. You wind up having you thinking your kid is going to be at home at 3:15, and they get
oh
snatched
yeah.
up, and then not only do you get snatched up, you get flown to an unknown place, an unknown land that you've never been in, and then you get the son gets
I
his head
can't
shaved off.
I can't even begin to think what that feel like. Fact, I read a few minutes ago there was a 19-year-old kid that got snatched up and
In
sent to El
Louisville.
Stat.
What?
Oh, it was in Louis.
Yeah,
Oh, in
Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This kid I was reading about was in New York, but he was on his way to a hearing, to the immigration hearing, and they snatched him up. Just
Becoming a citizen. They
Is that
snatched
the
up.
one that was in the elevator?
Oh my God. Somebody
wow,
needs to snatch
wow.
up Trump and go put him in one of those prisons and put
Yeah,
some lipstick on him.
I said don't let the president of El Salvador leave until they bring that till they bring Abrego back. Let him stay.
Yeah,
Keep
but
him in the United States.
I think with him though, Trump was trying to say, obviously, I can't do anything about it. It's El Salvador gets to choose, and then they decided that Supreme Court doesn't really matter what they say. They didn't tell me to bring him back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
He
trying to
needs to
say
be there.
now the word facilitate, what the word facilitate means.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what facilitate means. Well, I'm not
He
shocked.
can't spell it.
No. Mm.
He
He
can't
sells
spell it.
Cheetos.
Okay, let me see if I can. Hi, Caesar. I don't know if he can hear. Can you hear us? He says. Yeah, but you know what? I agree with you. Something has to be done. We got to do something about that man. He, they're gonna have to impeach him and move him out.
Yeah, yeah,
If,
Hmm.
matter of fact, when they do him, they just might as well just clean the whole administration up because they don't know. They're telling our secrets on these unsecured lines. They don't know what they're talking about. They putting us in bad situation with other countries and stuff. China, half of your stuff in your home comes from China, so we're not gonna
yep,
be able to get our Temu and any other things that we like to go get. We get a lot of our food from outside the country. And
yeah,
they've been
yep,
and the farmers are complaining that they don't have enough workers to get the items.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's several things that you just touched on there. So with China, we were working on bringing our stuff back in some protectionism type tariffs, which is
Mhm.
completely different than what Trump is doing. You can't protect an
Yep.
industry that doesn't exist here yet. So when they're
Yeah.
pissed
Exactly.
off because Canada's got a small tariff on us for, I don't know what, their milk or I don't know, some kind of farm product. That's a protectionist tariff. That is intentional to make sure that they protect their farmers. It doesn't mean it's going to
Right.
make things cheaper. In fact, it does the exact opposite. But
Exactly.
what Trump is doing is trying to say he's protecting bringing back industries, but he's literally causing people to not want to invest because it's too expensive to do so without taking in consideration, even if we do bring back some of the factories. Are we bringing back all the factories that also make the parts of the things we're going to be using to create whatever it is that we're building?
Mm.
Can't do it.
No,
You can't. First
no,
of all, do you have the
not
workers? Because
possible.
I
Huh?
don't know if y'all in the private sector, but some of these workers are not going to work for no $10 an hour. Them days
We
is
are not
over.
making Nikes here. That is not
Yeah.
happening.
Exactly.
No
That's
one's
not
going
going
to
to
work for
happen.
that price.
Exactly.
With
You,
chips, the CHIPS Act made sense because we noticed. So what Biden did was he said, okay, what was affected on our supply chain? What was it that the upstream had that the
Yep.
downstream needed that we couldn't get? Like we couldn't get a
That's right.
washer and dryer or our stove or vehicles because I think vehicles take what like 4,000 chips or something. I may be off on that, but if I remember correct, all of these products took chips. We didn't have them.
Yep.
Even if we made them here, we still had to send them back to China to package. I watched
you
a
know why?
congressional hearing on this, so
You know why, Georgina?
we had to do packaging here too. What's that?
You know, he said, Elon Musk said that we weren't very bright. That's why he had to go
Oh,
to
right. Yeah. Yeah.
No, actually, Ramaswamy said that, and they kicked
Yeah.
him out.
Yeah. Yeah. He needs to go be a Swami, not just have a last name of Swami.
I can't even say that he's wrong about that.
Huh?
I, I can't even say that they're wrong. I wouldn't say that we're dumb. We have some youth here that are very bright.
Mhm.
And if we take away some of this distraction that they got around them and pour in the things that they need, that's why it's important for you to fund our public schools because
Yeah.
there are a lot of bright students that are in public schools that cannot afford to go to your ritzy private schools.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not against private schools. What I'm
Mm-mm.
against is you taking money out of our public schools and taking it over to private schools where the parents over there, they already can't afford to get tax breaks or whatever. Let them
Mhm.
write it off then.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Leave our stuff alone. Let them write it off. Let them write off so much off of their taxes because they spending money sending their kids to school. Let them write that stuff out so it's not affecting our public schools. Why can't we
Mhm.
do that?
Well, that would make sense. Now, on that HB2, I was watching James Tallarico and Buckley go back and forth on the HB2.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I
it's
texted
good.
I texted Stephanie about this earlier. And Tallarico was just wanted to know, does this catch us up to 2019? And Buckley circled the fence. Then he circled the pond. I don't know. He just circled everything. And he never got to it. And so Tallarico finally is like, okay, so I just want to be clear that the answer is no, because it doesn't, no matter what you say. Now, the thing is they would say, we've never spent more money. Well, I hope you've never spent more money. We've never had more kids in school. We've never had inflation this high because it's a new day. And every
Yeah.
day, regardless
Yep.
of what the level of inflation is, it's going to need more. We've also never had so many mandates that were underfunded. You can't pay a portion, and when I say a portion, I mean $15 of the 200 that's needed for safety and security, and call it saying we've never spent more money. No, you've never made schools spend more money with a smaller budget. That's what
Exactly.
you've never done before. And I
Right.
hope to God every year you say we spend more money because every year you have inflation.
Yep.
Hmm.
These are facts. But again, it would make sense if they actually fund our schools. So we would have an educated populace and businesses that moved in here, as being the seventh or eighth largest economy in the world, would actually have people to hire. Oh, wait a second.
Right.
No, we'll just bring them in from other states, right? But who's going to want to move to Texas and put their children in our schools? They're not
Wait,
that
Yep.
dumb.
they're not even checking the school rates right now. We're number 43 in the union. 43. And we probably done dropped to number 50.
Well, we're 50 into healthcare affordability, mental and physical.
Well, you know, that explains why we have the issues that we have.
You know what we're number one in, though?
You're right.
We're number one. Yeah, that is a fact.
Like
We're
that.
number one in power outages.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. But we're
Wow.
also number one in, like, I think we lead the world in energy, but we have the most power outages.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine that.
Jared
Well, at least
Patterson
we're
works
not
for.
hooked up to Canada because Canada said they were going to turn the lights out. And wait a minute. So Abbott done made the Canada president or whoever he is, he made him mad. I'm
I
like,
know. Well,
can
they're
you
only
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
state?
that.
yeah, they're only punishing red states from Canada right now, though. I think they're mainly punishing red states.
We're red.
Yeah, so
They,
what?
they don't cut our power off. Yeah.
You know, I can't blame
luckily,
Canada. I'm kind
we're
of like,
on
go
our own
Canada.
thing. We have our own grid. Thank God for that one. For small favors, we have
Yeah.
our own, so we're not connected to anybody. So, but you know, let a good windstorm come through or another ice storm, and you know, lights out.
Well, maybe it'll take out Elon Musk's plantation. What does he have? He has like a whole.
He's in
What does he have?
plantation. Yeah.
Yeah, she said plantation.
What's
That,
that?
that, that's
Hey, she
accurate.
might be
Yeah.
right.
Well, he's got all
That's
his women
accurate.
there with his kids, and they
Virginia,
can't
you just
leave. I don't know
drove him
what you call
to
it.
the gutter, girl. You
Huh?
just drove him to the gutter.
That's about. I don't feel like Elon Musk is much better than that. Period.
That's accurate. The headquarters is in Austin, right?
I
Yes,
think
That's
so.
headquarters or the Tesla
yes.
plantation.
Plantation, right? That's. We're just gonna start calling. Let's call it the way it is. It's either. Yeah, let's just call it the way it is. He's a horrible
But
person.
he is a horrible
He's just a
person.
horrible person.
And he steals other people's ideal and put his name on it. That's
Mhm.
why they taking their Teslas and get. Did you know they was taking hair dryers at these Teslas?
Yes, yeah, I saw that.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
What?
they taking the Teslas emblem off of their vehicles and stuff and slapping something else.
Oh yes, I
matter
heard
of
about
fact,
that.
they have a support line that will walk you through that. You can call a support number that would guide you how to do that.
Yes,
Nice. Yeah. Well, I
yes.
wouldn't want that on my car either.
No, they even got something almost like a therapy line. If you're too underwater and you can't get out of your car, you can talk to a counselor.
Mm.
We need a therapy line for what's going on in the U.S. right now. I mean, Texas, we started it, and then
Yeah,
Trump is
all
finishing
roads
it.
lead to Texas.
Huh?
All roads lead to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something broken or dysfunctional, we
Yeah,
sometimes got
oh
some
man,
other people.
Just ask us
Yeah,
how we
yeah.
did it.
yeah. We got to
Leave the
make a
country
change.
in embarrassment. Yeah, that's
We can't make this
I
stuff.
read you my response about embarrassment. There was a guy on Facebook who called me delusional when I agreed that, we are an embarrassing country. So I went on his Facebook profile, looked up who he was, and threw in about 20 adjectives that fit him.
She will do
oh,
that.
oh yes, yes. Hey.
It felt really good. Well, I wanted to make sure the adjectives fit the character. And they did. So we'll go with that. I think
Yeah.
Stephanie started the podcast with me listing them off.
I was trying to tell her we were lying. But Dale's not on here with us, so we can, we kind of like acting up a little bit. Dale kind of like keep us kind of halfway normal. He's the good guy.
Yeah.
We just tell it like it is. There's
Stephanie
no
and I were left unsupervised for the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, and then Zara got on.
Yeah, I kind of calmed down a little bit.
Calm down some. But y'all, I don't know. They're still arguing down there in Austin about the school bill. So we're gonna have to continue on keeping our eye out and ears and call them. And I don't know if y'all have Mitch Little as your rep. I know Zara, you don't have him as your rep, but Mitch Little, I really hope somebody runs against him and take
Mhm.
him off of his pedestal.
I think he
Because
might be running for governor
Mitch
next.
Little
I think something like that, either attorney
Wow.
general or governor. I can't remember which one I heard.
is probably going to be attorney general.
Might
Oh,
be.
wow.
Might
Wow.
be. No,
Oh
I think
God,
you think you're right. It might be attorney general. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He probably would run for attorney general because he's what's his name, Paxson? That's his attorney, so I could see that happening.
Paxton is his act.
Mhm.
Wow. Oh my God.
Wow.
That is the most corrupt person in the
Go.
world.
Yeah,
I mean, he makes Trump look not corrupt.
I know
And
he.
that
That's
takes
bad.
work.
That's yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It takes work.
he's gonna put Trump in retirement because he's just as evil and twisted as anybody. He will sue a baby for sucking a pacifier. That's the type of person that he is. He's an evil man.
He is
I
so
guess
evil.
Mitch Little is little. I mean that's
The
He
little
really is
man.
little. He's like this tall. I mean, and he's just a little person. They're like, personality wise, not all wrong. I'm gonna be quiet now. No, I'm just kidding.
oh man, that's
Oh my
That may have come
god!
out completely wrong.
You know what? I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say anything because I did actually meet the guy, and
Mhm.
I was not very impressed. I'm not gonna say nothing about his kid, but I'm gonna say like this here. He got a Mitch Little Jr. that's just as something else as he is, and I hope that somebody wake this child up so he won't grow up in the world being like that because it's
Mm.
like you can't be treating people no any kind of way.
yeah.
But
Mm.
I see it.
I watched him at your forum. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean that kind of it gets passed down from generation to generation. So and that's why they don't want to teach DEI in schools. That's why they don't want to teach empathy, because then it breaks that
Mhm.
terrible cycle that they want to pass down.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, they said they don't want their children to feel guilty about what happened in the past, and they don't want our children generations behind us to know what actually happened to
Yep.
their great grandparents. They don't want them to
Right.
know the history. So, like I always tell my kids, if you do not know your history, you are subject to repeat it. And
Yep.
Yep.
because here it is in 2025, we're repeating history in a different form. It's
Mhm.
Modern
an
day.
updated version ran by some idiots that are doing the wrong thing, and we gotta fix it. Those of us that know our history and know what it takes to protect this country, we got to do a better job in protecting our country and making
Mhm.
sure that our kids are informed. I was telling a young man today that, listen, I need you to go get you some history books, and I asked him, I said, hey, is your grandmama alive? And I have to make sure I know the age group. He
Mhm.
says yes. I says, your grandfather alive? He goes, yes. I said, I need you to go spend
Yep.
time with your grandparents and get the information from them, because once they close their eyes, you're not going to get their history because they're trying to take away all these books. You're not going to know anything about MLK. You're not going
Mhm.
to know about the ladies who flew the fire jets. You're
Mhm.
Yep.
not going to know about those women who sacrificed and who stood up for all women to have their rights. You're not going to know. So it's time for you to talk with your grandparents. And if you got great grandparents, go talk to them and find out about your history, because it's important. Because once they get rid of those history lessons, especially about Brown, heck, about anything, once they
Mhm.
Yeah.
get rid of history and they change it to where they water it down to where they look good, You're gonna be lost.
Here's the thing
Yeah,
is, if you teach
absolutely.
history the way it happened, what happened, we learn from it, it's not, we shouldn't, yes, there are horrifying and embarrassing things that we did in history. I didn't do it.
Nope.
I didn't.
Right.
It does not embarrass me to teach my kids what happens. It embarrasses me to think that we would want to hide it. It
Right.
embarrasses me
Exactly.
to think that
Yeah.
we would want to repeat it.
Right.
I am
Right.
proud of the fact that I never would repeat that. And that
Hmm.
is how we need to teach our
Exactly.
children. It is not
Yep.
embarrassing.
Absolutely.
It's horrible. But the embarrassing part is that we're okay with repeating it and not
That's
teaching
the
Exactly.
it.
Yes. Yes.
craziest thing.
Yes.
That's embarrassing.
Yes. Yes.
Especially when you have this mixed society of people, there's not any pure anything anymore. Everybody has mixed and mingled. It's
Yep.
almost too late for you to be trying to do segregation because people are mixed up.
You're segregating.
I mean, it's kind of late, right? It's kind of too late to be, saying, "Hey,
I,
you go over there and you go over here." Well, wait a minute, your son dating my daughter.
you know what? Also, if you really look
Exactly.
at a pure breed of anything, there's a little bit of like closeness in the family. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's okay to mix. It makes us
Yep.
healthier people. It's a healthier
Absolutely.
way of doing things. We I don't know how to put this other than yeah, we've gone too far for this. But also, I don't think it's good. Like if you look at the Mennonites and some of the other groups where they stay within their own people, they do have a lot of not they're not necessarily inbreeding, but you can't help it because you're only so many generations apart. They have a lot of medical issues because of that. Now that is their religious beliefs and they want to stay within that own religion and make sure. But when you've only got 100, 200 people, y'all are sharing an uncle somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh man. Yeah. You're right.
Get out of Alabama
No,
with that.
what's that? I-
No, we can't do that. That's why it's so important to leave people alone. They already done. Hey, let people be people.
right.
Right. Yep.
If you want to
Leave
marry
people alone.
if you want to marry someone you love, by God, marry someone you love. It doesn't matter. It's really none of my damn business.
That's
Nor
right.
do
Yeah,
I
Yep.
care. And I don't want
that
you to care about my business because it's my business.
that's a
Exactly.
bumper sticker right
Yeah.
there. None of
Huh?
my damn business. None of my damn business. That is
None
a
of my
bumper
damn business.
sticker right there.
And
It's
it's none
not
of my damn business how the Mennonites live either. That is their business. And I respect that
Right.
because it's their business. And
exactly.
Unless they try to impose that on us. When
that's
you
where I
try to
draw a
impose,
line. Yeah.
Exactly. And they not
Hmm.
putting money on my table or putting food on my table. M- Leave me alone. I don't care what you
that's right.
do. I care about people. I don't want anybody being mistreated. That's
Hmm.
my thing right there. I want people to be educated. I want people to be treated right. I want us to be able to have Medicaid and Medicare for all, that
That's
people can go to the
absolutely.
doctor and get the help that they need and don't have to be. Let me tell you, so you sick and you can't even go to the doctor because you're sitting up here thinking, how much is this bill going to cost? That's
Hmm.
where we're
Right.
at. And it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what party you're in. Why is our healthcare system so broken to where a person that works 40 hours a week can't even afford to go to the doctor, go see about their eye?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
Because they
know,
don't care.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
and it's sad. And then you wonder why this country is so full of people who are diabetics, me included. That's diabetics and can't even afford their medicine and stuff like that. Because simple
Oh
fact
man.
is, it's horrible. It's horrible. You can't afford to go to the doctor, and then I tell my sister this all the time. How the heck you own all this medicine for all these years and you still a diabetic? How? I
That's
can't
Hmm.
make
criminal.
this. How?
Not only that, but like the medications that you need are thousands of dollars, even with insurance. Now,
Exactly.
Yeah, but
okay, so you take Merck for example. They got what's their cancer drug called? I can't think of the name, but it costs $7,000. If
Yeah.
you have insurance, best case scenario is going to cost you like $1,500 a month. How
hmm
you how you gonna say you treating cancer? You charging somebody $7,000 for a drug? I
you
mean,
can
that's absolutely criminal. That's crazy.
see. So
Yeah.
here's how our system works. We've got what's called PBMs, and they are supposed to negotiate the pharmaceutical prices. Now,
Supposed to.
supposed to, right. But they get paid on the percentage of the cost of that medicine. So let's
Mhm.
say they bring it down 75%, but they get paid on the original before it came down to 75%.
Yep.
So even
Mhm.
if there's a drug that cost 10% or 1% of that one, they're not going to put it out there because they
Yep.
don't, it doesn't do them any good. But they're
Right.
also owned by the insurance companies. And then we had doctors and hospitals that have now done a vertical integration that also have a lot of times pharmaceuticals there. And
Yep.
so they've kind of come together and they call it vertical integration. And that's why it's more expensive to go see our doctor. So like my doctor was with Texas Health Resources, right? And that's before Texas Health Resources decided that doctors were going to work for them. I had no insurance back then, and I could go in, he gave me a 65% discount. Absolutely made no sense for me to get insurance because, I mean, just I was mainly having my yearly checkup and everything. So, and then I would also get a discount on uh, my labs. Well, then all of a sudden, Texas Health Resources got to where the doctors actually worked for them. And first, I mean, it went slowly. First, they did the med
Yeah.
or the test, and they had to send it out on the lab, and so I didn't get a discount on that. And then it went from me paying, 65 or 35% of a almost $400 bill to I didn't get any discount on the bill if I didn't have insurance. This is the same way now. In fact, if you are uninsured, you don't get a discount anymore for most
No.
hospitals or doctors'
Nope.
offices because they cannot give it to you, even if they wanted to.
That's true. No, you know
Yep.
what? My doctor told me that when I went for my physical. He said that um he's kind of under pressure sometimes to push certain drugs and certain treatment. He said, "Man, I really can't tell you this, but like, they want me to um, push certain exams, certain treatments because it's all revenue driven, and
Mhm.
that's a
Yep.
shame,
Mhm.
And it's like whether you need it or not, because it makes them money. They're going to attempt to push that.
Mhm. Yep. Because now it's all about money, it's not about healthcare. So
Right.
it was supposed to make healthcare less expensive and better, but it actually gave us more expensive healthcare and less healthcare. We're
Mhm.
Absolutely.
completely worse off.
We
Yeah.
are. I think we're more worse off than we were back in the 50s.
Mhm. Oh, we're
Yeah.
worse off than we were just a couple of years ago. But yeah, definitely
Yeah.
back then. I'd almost rather go back then and have healthcare. At least I could afford
Right? And,
it.
and Lord knows we all need health care with all the bad stuff that we're eating. And especially if they decide to do something with the EPA as far as with the water and stuff like that, not having some system in place to make sure that we don't have poison water that we're having,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Did you see where REI, because it's an outdoor sports area, so they had went and backed the guy that Trump was wanting to put on the cabinet for Interior Secretary, I think is what it was. But they're in
Yeah.
charge of, the forestries and all that. Now they wrote a letter and they're bringing the other sports affiliated companies together or outdoor companies and are no longer supporting that candidate. I'll have to look it up and see who it is.
Okay.
REI withdrawal support.
Well, I can definitely tell you we got a lot of stuff to fix. I don't know if we're gonna be able to fix it these next 3 years, but we're gonna have a lot of work. So I'm like, everybody continue on doing what you're doing, get out there, go to these rallies, call your Congress and your senators and stay on top of them to be passing these bills and not pass certain bills. Those that live in Texas, We
Good
need
luck.
them to bring that vote to us
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
we pay our
absolutely.
taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't have the right to tell us, oh, we're going to take your money. That's just like somebody coming in my house and say, I'm going to take your TV and you're not going to be able to watch General Hospital. I'm going to take it. You
Might be
know,
the only help you get medically is watching General Hospital. Might get some information off that. No.
girl, I be on there watching Sonny and Jason.
I was on my children, so
Young and the Restless.
Yeah.
One Life to Live, or Days of Our Lives. Days of
Well,
Our Lives.
listen, you know, when my father used to preach about all my children, young and the restless, General Hospital, at the edge of the night. Yeah, we had all that going on. And right now, I feel like we in some type of soap opera. I just don't know which soap opera we're in.
Hell. I think it's just spelled hell. Yeah. Oh, so
oh man.
REI, we may start seeing companies come back and say, you know what, we will draw these endorsements that we gave Trump because Doug Burgum, he was Nebraska's governor, and he did a great job
In North
with
Dakota.
North Dakota. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, I got the wrong state. Yeah, he was our governor. He did a great job at using renewable energy and then the oil and gas and just kind of it was very resourceful on that, as well as partnerships with private and public and taking care of their public lands. But
Yeah.
REI has decided they don't want more drilling going on public lands. They don't
Oh
like the
wow.
fact that they have fired so many people, the forestry people. They're pissed. Now they're bringing in other groups just like them to kind of gang up on Trump. Tell him we're done with this.
Well, you know
That's
what?
good
The
news.
only way that you can shut Trump up is get the rich people to shut him up. We the people, we the little small people, we can't shut him up. But them people with that money, they can shut him up. If Elon Musk really wanted to do something for us and do right by us, he could go tell Trump. His son, his little 4-year-old, already told him.
He's not the
Yeah,
president.
president.
Did he tell him that?
Yes. So, we just need him to move on out the way. Let's recall the election. Let's do a start over.
Can
You
we do
know,
it? Yeah.
let's just start this all over again. We should be able to recall this election. I'm gonna have to look that up. Can we recall the election for a president? Because something ain't right
Yeah.
about this here. We
We
can't
can.
vote.
It's called an impeachment.
Well, all of them gonna have to impeach. Why don't we impeach the senators and just not? And let me tell y'all something. Do y'all know that we had 4 Democrats that voted for that Save Act law?
Are you serious? Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's right. We did. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah.
Why did
And
they
then
vote for
we
this?
had 10 that wanted to silence Al Green, Congressman Al Green. So
Yeah.
that's 14 that ain't like us. I think
So
it's
those are
time.
not Democrats.
They're not. They're not. They
No.
gotta go. They
Yep.
gotta go.
Yep.
You know what?
And
Screw standing on Roy Chip's lawn. I'm gonna go stand on these 4 people's lawns.
Exactly. I would let
yeah.
Austin handle him.
I'm gonna throw
Hopefully,
them my bra.
Hey.
I use that as a slingshot.
Chris, we're talking about burning our bras and throwing our bras on Chip Roy's lawn.
Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you. Hey,
You know, I'll let you borrow a
if
bra
you
just
got
so
it,
you can throw it.
no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with it.
Yeah, because it's crazy. You done took our rights away. We can't. We don't have the right to say what we can do with our bodies. We don't have the rights to go vote. If you're married, you don't have the right to go vote. They're literally stripping us away from every single thing. Next, they're gonna sit up there and tell us we can't drive.
Yeah, yeah.
So here are the people we need to call tomorrow and tell them to F off. Jared Golden, Marie Glusenkamp, Perez, really? And Marie?
It could be married.
Henry
She could be
Schuler?
married.
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to write this down. I can't say. And then Ed Case. I believe those are the Democrats that voted for the SAVE Act. What the hell are they saving? Hopefully not their career.
Hey, if you have their number, we definitely need to post that, and so we can all
Yeah.
call and get on their last nerve and tell them how dare you, because you're not one of us. You're not. You're not
Mhm.
even American. How are you gonna sit up there and vote for something that's gonna hurt your American people? They forgot who put them in office. They forgot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. How can a girl vote against this? Am I missing
Money,
something?
money.
I,
What,
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
what am I
Yeah.
missing? I mean, besides
Yeah.
money. Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
No morals.
All right, I
That
posted it in
too.
the chat. Y'all got the names now. I can't say them because I apparently can't read, but you got the names.
I'm like, I'm looking. Okay, is it in there?
One of them's from Washington. Isn't it a blue state?
Yeah.
Well,
Right. Yeah, that was kind of rhetorical, but yeah.
Or she must be like in a purplish or so-called purplish district.
Uh-huh. Is Hawaii
But
any close?
still, I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
yeah. So what's going to wind up happening is they're going to need to be primary. We got to
Mhm.
primary them, and so and anybody coming out of Texas, they know they wrong.
Well, Ed
Oh,
Case is from Hawaii. So the two blue states. Mm,
Yeah, we definitely need to be calling them.
mm,
So, hmm,
yeah. I
sounds
thought
like
so.
something to do in the morning.
Yes,
Call.
man. Let me call and say, what are y'all smoking crack?
They're doing
Did you cross
something.
the line?
um,
They smoking that funny stuff.
They are smoking something. Anyway.
It is crazy. Oh my God, we're so far off of time
Oh,
today. Look what happened. Georgina, it's your fault.
it is all my fault. I know. I crossed the line on many conversations. I made us go over time. You can't have me on here. I'm trouble.
Yeah, but you know what? It's good trouble. It's always good to have a
that's right.
little good trouble, because we can't be. I know anybody that's listening to us, y'all. Aren't you tired of all the negativity stuff and nobody's laughing at? Even though we're in crisis,
Yeah, you gotta
we
laugh.
can't make this stuff up.
This is
We just
insane.
can't make this stuff up.
Nope,
We got to
cannot.
laugh.
It would be
You know what's?
impossible to make this.
Yeah,
We used to call it what, science fiction?
that's why I feel we're living in science fiction. Especially RFK is the head of HHS.
Oh
I'm
no.
like, you've got a literal crackhead in charge. I mean, I get a literal crackhead.
Wow.
That's true.
Dang, I
Look,
forgot to put my banner up.
this is
Yeah,
America.
I do love the fact that he wants to make food safe again. But
When was it not?
he also
Yeah,
wants to get rid of vaccines and any kind of common sense that we have. I
Well,
don't
you
think.
heard
hey,
you heard about the West Texas thing, right? You heard about that doctor.
yeah.
So I have to tell this. I have to tell this one.
Oh
So
man, that's so stupid, man. I'm like, that's go ahead, Steph. Go ahead.
I know, right? So the doctor is out there
Uh-huh.
in West Texas, supposed to be having some type of anti-vax festival or whatever they had going on down there, right? So
Nice.
this guy has full blown measles.
Yes,
I
yes,
only feel sick a little bit, but bring your kids, bring everyone, and We're gonna talk about these measles and stuff. He got measles patches all over his
Oh
face,
God.
and he wants to talk to these kids. So if any parent that did not have good sense took their unvaxxed kid, into the room with him, so guess what? That crap is gonna spread like wildflowers out
yeah,
there. So
When
I'm
was
like,
this?
this was what, last week?
yeah.
It's this,
Last week.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm just going to throw this out there, but that's the Mennonite area.
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
that's why I got the
yeah.
name or that earlier because it was literally on top of my head. But yeah,
we you know what we need? We need a border. We need to lock them in where they're at
I
That's
and
feel a
put
right.
wall.
Yeah.
We want a
they need to
wall.
stay right there
Right.
until they
Yep.
Keep your
get that measles
measles.
stuff under control because they're going to
Yeah.
contaminate the rest of us. It's going to
Hmm.
spread, and if you've never had the shot or you have immune problems and stuff and you want to get in, that could kill some old people,
Yeah,
especially me because I've never had the measles
my
or the
kid with
Oh,
chicken
Down
pox.
wow.
syndrome is immune compromised because he
Yeah.
has Down syndrome. We had neighbors that were crazy. He put this thing on Facebook that said, like, the cell phones messing with your head and all those other little crazy stuff, like RFK crap. And they were like, dude, you own a cell phone. Yeah, you're on Facebook. You eat this crap too. I'm like, whatever. They then kind of find out the guy's a meth head.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. He lost his job because his little pipe thing rolled out of his pocket.
Oh.
And we only know this because we know the
Wow.
guy he was working for.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and he was selling blood to be able to pay for the meth.
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah,
Just can't make this up.
you
Oh,
can't make
God.
that up. But
Wow.
they're gonna save them babies. Mhm. And not vaccinate their own kids.
See, that's why we
Um,
call it "Let's Talk About It" stuff because you never know what you're gonna get on here.
Man.
Sometimes we get a little wild, but we still listen. We love y'all. We want to make sure that y'all do the right thing, vote the right way. We have elections coming up, early
Yes.
voting this month. Elections coming up the 1st of May. Please, y'all, get out to go vote. If you
Yes.
Yes.
are registered now and you can legally go in there and go vote,
Yes.
get out
Yes.
and go vote. Because you
Please.
know what? Our future depends on that one vote.
That's
Mhm.
right.
It
Yep.
does. Every vote is
Yep.
important.
It
100%
is.
important.
It
And
is.
vote in your primaries. And make sure that we're
Please.
not putting crazy Democrats like Ed Case into office.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
We need to
That's,
blow them up and
Yeah.
let everyone know that they voted for the SAVE Act.
yeah, they did. I mean, we definitely need to post it all over social media because that's just the craziest thing. Every
Mm.
woman should be calling them, sending letters, going to their office because at the end of the day, they need to be primary. We need to get them gone. They got to
Yeah.
go. They got to go.
Yeah.
So I hope our new chair really does a good job in vetting people and getting them out and giving support where they're needed. We have a new Texas chair, Democrat chair.
Yes.
Kendall.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Kendall, he's a great guy, and hopefully
Yes.
we can
Yeah.
get him on the show.
Yeah.
But
That, yeah, that'd be great.
we might have to act like we got some sense though, but yeah, we got to get Kendall on here
Well,
and
that's
talk
going to be
about
hard.
be yourself.
I have a
that.
hard.
That's trouble.
You just want me to
No,
be
No,
quiet.
Darlene.
just be yourself. Trump. Hey. Hey.
I'll do my best.
Trump say what he
Yeah.
want to say.
Yeah.
I hope
No,
y'all.
I'm glad he got that. I was glad to see he got that. He was nominated. I'm not nominated, but he was but
Elected.
they voted for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was elected in.
Kendall
Yeah.
So
Sutter's worked very hard for that position. He knows what he's doing. He's prepared.
Yeah.
He's ready. There's no way that I don't think many people could do worse than the last leader we had for the TDP. That guy was awful, and he's been awful. And he wouldn't leave. They tried to kick him out. He would not leave.
Oh my
Oh, I
goodness.
didn't know that. I
Oh
didn't know
yeah.
that.
yeah, it was
Hmm.
the last election that we had, the last convention that was down here in Dallas. There was a nasty show, and he should have never got in. We should have had Kim Olson as our Texas party chair, but it is what it is. We got Kendall, and Kendall's gonna do a
Yeah.
good job. Kendall's one of those type of people that can work on both sides. He's
Hmm.
he's he's approachable, and he
Hmm.
doesn't care what color you are. So race is
Mhm.
not, it don't have anything to do. He's a good country boy, and he
Mhm.
loves people, and he loves want to make sure that people are being treated right, and that's how he is. So I think very highly of him. I think he's going to be great, and he's in what generation he's in that generation that we need to be able to adapt to change. So
He's
I think
he's
He's
a
a
little bit
millennial.
younger than the rest of us.
yeah, I think he's a millennial. So he's gonna, he has great ideals, to bring us to the future. And
Mhm.
this party has to change. And of course, we have our DNC that I don't know. We're gonna
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
work on
agree.
that. We're
Yeah,
gonna work on Texas first, and then
yeah,
once we get Texas together, we're gonna have to work on the rest of this country. Because
Yeah.
right now, everybody following out what we do. So Texas Democrats, we and liberals, and hell, some of you Republicans that sneaking and voting for us, continue to sneak and vote for us.
that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to just say thank y'all for coming on tonight. It has been a joy to have everyone on here. We will
Glad
see
to
you
be here.
next Wednesday. Thank you, Chris, for popping in. And thank
Oh
you, Caesar, for trying to get in. I really appreciate everybody. And Georgina, you crazy. You're gonna get me in trouble with YouTube.
GB.
Yeah, make America great for once.
Yeah, for once,
We
yeah, I like that.
That's a t-shirt. You better tag
Yes.
that one.
I just never
Yes.
met anybody who wanted to pedal backwards until now. I'm like, seriously. I
I
thought we
thought we were
pedaled
supposed to move
forward.
forward, you know.
Yeah,
But you can tell he never paddled anything in his life, so he probably don't even own a bicycle. He
No,
got
but he
somebody
can
to
own
ride.
one of them. No.
He on that two-seater, somebody pedaling him. But
Oh, that's a lot.
I know, right? McDonald's. But y'all, thank y'all for coming on here. And thank you, viewers that's on here. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Let's Talk About It, Steph. We will be back next Wednesday. Who knows who our guest is? And like I always say every week, I can't make this stuff up. We got all kind of content that's coming in. That's the only thing I can say about this administration, that he gives us great content. There is no reason why you can't have a good
no, no.
podcast, because it's always something.
Yep.
Never know what's going to happen next.
Right.
No.
So see you guys next week, and thank y'all for coming on.
All right.
All right,
We
Thank
y'all
out.
be
you.
tight.
See
Okay.
you later.
See you later.